waste.
Not for communal use, it seems. Somebody's been murdered, and you're under suspicion. Your lack of wealth might make bribing this individual rather difficult.
If you've been a subscriber man for a while, or if you're just checking out my channel, you will notice a glaringly obvious lack of Baldur's Gate 3 content, and I made a video a couple of years ago, I believe, and I think that's the only one I made, but until this week, I have never actually completed Baldur's Gate 3. I know it's been out for like 2 years, and that's shocking. I get it, I understand, but I hit a few walls every time. I kept restarting new characters and trying different things, and eventually, finally, I managed to get through. With the release of patch 8 last week, I absolutely hammered, well, a couple of weeks ago now, I absolutely hammered Baldur's Gate 3, and I completed it in a weekend. Now, it only took me about 25 hours, and that was that's literally not doing everything. I got all my characters up to level 12 and got them some decent gear, and I went ahead and I did do the cheat ending. I just blew Gale up. So I didn't even fight the final boss. So there you go. That's the ending I went. But I wanted to see credits. I wanted to finally beat the game in some fashion. And I then immediately went and started a new character. But the character I used to complete Baldur's Gate 3 was a barbarian with one of the new subclasses. And I had a whale of a time. And I absolutely loved every single minute of it, and it finally all clicked into place, and I finally get it. I understand what I need to do, and although I have had many sort of half playthroughs, I've always gotten to Act 3 but never pushed through to the end until obviously this more recent playthrough with my character Draken, which my son chose. He wanted me to be one of the Dragonborn, and I was like, okay, cool, we'll be a barbarian Dragonborn, and I literally just smashed through doors, broke boxes. I just played as a barbarian. I was aggressive, I was in people's faces, and I think I romanced Minthara. I think that was the romance that I had going on. So I lost Karlach and Will. They vacated, which was a shame, because I did have my size set on Karlach, but with my new playthrough, that's the one I'm going for. But with the playthrough I did and I completed it, I had such a great time that I immediately started up a half-elven bard, and I'm now playing as a bard for the first time with a subclass of like using swords, so I can use I can use some really fancy sword work as well. But if you played a lot of Baldur's Gate, you already know this. But it's just such a damn good game. There is so much in Baldur's Gate 3 that it blows my mind. It's obviously it's a CRPG, it's a character RPG, and it is linear to a point. It's not open world. There are a load of sections which are open and you can explore, but there is so much hidden within them that is so easily missed. On every subsequent playthrough, I keep finding new things, even in Act 1 and Act 2. I keep finding more and more things, different areas, new quest lines, new this, new that, items, whatever it is, and it just blows my little mind that with a game like Baldur's Gate, which has no season pass, no DLC, no nothing, it has more in it than most full release games than they do force on you these battle passes, season passes, DLCs and all that kind of crap. There is of course deluxe edition items you can get from Baldur's Gate 3, which I don't have and you don't need. They're literally cosmetic, I believe. But besides that, Baldur's Gate 3 is just absolutely phenomenal. It can take you, if you wanted to do everything in the game, I believe it can take you anywhere up to 50 hours for a single playthrough, I believe. You can take more time than that if you want to. If you wanted to go around and talk to everyone, read all the books, soak up all the lore of Baldur's Gate and the world of Dungeons and Dragons and just go around and explore absolutely everything. But the sheer amount of ways that you can solve even the most simplest of problems is insane. If you can think it, you can do it in the game for the most part. Now, the game obviously is not 100% perfect. It does, even to this day, after its final patch, have a couple of bugs. Like with my dragon character, I lost a couple of sets of armor because when I picked up these boots that gave me mist steps so I could teleport. And when I did that, all his armor would disappear out of my inventory, and a couple of times I'd find it in the area. It just sort of fell off my body and was just there. And I did lose a couple of sets of armor that way. That did bug the wank out of me, I'm not going to be honest. But I'm not going to hold it completely against the game because, I don't know, maybe that's a mechanic. Maybe because my character's not meant to teleport, he loses his clothes, I don't know. But he just wound up in a thong on the other side, and I got a bit confused. But there's so many ways to make money. There's so much, obviously all the different romances. It's really good, and I kept finding so much more to see and do. Combat is fantastic. It's turn-based. If you do not like turn-based combat, you are not going to like the game. That's just the way it is. But the combat is you can be so creative with what you do. And it's so much fun to think, right, well, what can I do here? Because, of course, physics apply. So water and lightning, and if there's ice, you can use fire to melt the ice, and there's grease, and you can set fire to oil and grease and all the other stuff. You can get around obstacles. If there's somebody blocking your way and you want to get to a certain point, you can find a different way in, and you can utilize boxes or leaping or misstep or teleporting or whatever abilities you have to get around, to get where you want to go. That's a lot of fun to do. It's fantastic. You can make friends with the animals if you have the specific abilities. The game can end right at the very beginning if you find, if you make certain choices in certain dialogue options, you will 100% get savaged. So it's very easy. There's so many ways. Like I said, there's so many ways. There's just so much that I could go on forever and a day with all the different things other YouTubers have, other people have on social media. Of course, it's the general consensus that Baldur's Gate 3 is fantastic and very much up there within the top 10 games of all time that's ever been made. 100%. So much love and care and attention to details gone into Baldur's Gate that unfortunately other CRPGs that I've tried to play, like I tried to play Pathfinder Kingmaker straight after Baldur's Gate 3. Now, Pathfinder Kingmaker is a really good game, has really cool mechanics. You can camp wherever you are, your characters have to rest and all that stuff, which is a really cool mechanic, and I do like it. But it's not got as much polish and as much flair as Baldur's Gate 3. So I think I'm going to do my Bard playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3, and then if I don't want to dive straight back in with another playthrough with another character, I then might let a little time pass and then go back to Pathfinder Kingmaker, because I have both Pathfinders, I have both Pillars of Eternity games. I do want to go on and play other CRPGs, because I have always played CRPGs, but I think Baldur's Gate 3 is just one that really resonated with me. I just think because of how much went into it. And this is a game where I'm actually sad that we're not getting no DLC for it, which is stupid and an insane thing to be sad about. But it's something that I want more from. But I tend to find the more I play through it, the more I get from it, because it just keeps on giving. There's so much I have not seen. There's so much I have not done. There's all the characters' side stories that I have not done. And like Astarians and Shadow Hearts, all of them basically. Gales, for example, poor Gale. My next playthrough, well, this playthrough I'm doing as the Bard, I'm not going to blow him up. I'm actually going to legitimately fight the last boss. I'm not going to cheat age. I also want the Steam achievements for it, so I want to make sure that I do all the different endings, because that's what I want to do. I am a massive achievement trophy whore, 100%, and that is one of my major grievances with the upcoming release of the Switch 2, is that there's no achievements or trophy system again, which I think is a bit crap. But Baldur's Gate 3, if you have not played it, it is as good as everybody says it is, 100%. Does not mean it's for everybody. If you don't like turn-based combat, and that's, well, for the most part, I'd say it's limiting gameplay in that it's not open world. but it's not limited, if that makes sense, because if you can think it, you can do it, in terms of you can kill any character, main character, whatever. It changes the story. The story and things that happen and events that happen throughout the game change depending on your choices, and all the choices that you make is so good. It is such a really good game, and every time you start a new character, the game, it feels like you're playing it for the first time every time, and that's a great thing to have. Basically, that's a great thing to have in your game, that every single time you play through it can just feel like the next one. You can be a total dick, you can be evil as all hell, you can be a really super nice guy, you can romance people if you wanted to romance people of all genders, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. It's such a really good game. You can equip some really cool armor and stuff, and yes, you can customize it with dyes and whatnot. Of course, the game has full mod support, so once I 100% the achievements, I will then start modding the game. So Baldur's Gate 3 will live on, and I think they have released extra modding with patch 8, I believe, so people can create new quest lines and new areas and stuff. Now, it's only a matter of time before people actually create the upper city of Baldur's Gate and other areas around Faerun, and I can't wait for that, because I know it's coming. Baldur's Gate 3 will live on like Skyrim. It will just be added to and just molded into an absolute monster of a CRPG. But this, I don't do many reviews, but I wanted to do a review for Baldur's Gate 3. It is 100% worth it. It is a 10 out of 10 game. It is a fantastic game, and it is well worth its even full price. And I don't say that very often. It's a game that you will get hundreds and hundreds of hours out of, if you want hundreds of hours out of, or even if you just get the one playthrough down between 25 and, because it doesn't take too long to beat. It's not overly bloated if you don't want it to be. But it is as long as you want it to be, because it is that awesome. But thank you very much for watching the video. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of Baldur's Gate 3. And as always, thank you very much for watching.